First off, let me just say that I know that I said that I would be posting a vlog today. But that's not how it happened, alright? Alright. Hi guys, welcome back. My name is Freck, and welcome to my channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Just before the video even starts, you don't even need to see what's going on. So, to start off with, I'm going to be talking about TANACON, VidCon, and yes, this time I actually did write notes. You know how good I am at that. To begin with, I'm going to be talking about why I think personally that, well, if you haven't really been paying attention to what's been trending lately with the whole TANACON sort of deal, then you haven't heard very many YouTubers say this. But I've heard a few YouTubers here and there say, this year's VidCon was the best VidCon. This year's VidCon was the best VidCon they've ever done.
This year's VidCon was the best VidCon of my life.
So I'm going to begin by talking about VidCon. I know you're probably here for TANACON. TANACON is a part of the reason why the 2018 VidCon was the best VidCon. And let me explain. Number one reason is TANACON failed. And why is it that TANACON failed? Why VidCon had the best year that they've ever had? And that is because TANACON technically, in a way, promoted VidCon. Think about it. F VidCon. VidCon can go screw itself. I'm going to plan my event during the days of VidCon. VidCon screwed me over, da-da-da. You know, everything that Tana Mojo was saying.
And was VidCon.
Oh, yeah, super fun.
I didn't know that. So I watched pieces of your video, the long one that you posted, and I agreed with some of it. I didn't know, like when I saw the paper that Good Times was sending out, that was like,
VidCon! Anyone who created VidCon!
I didn't
literally
do that, if that makes it better, but it doesn't. It's stupid and spiteful.
And let me just say here, I probably should have said this at the beginning of the video, but let me just say here that I have nothing against Tana. I can't really say that she's a good person, but I can say that I think she's hilarious. I don't want to say that she had good intentions for TANACON, but yeah. Let's just continue. When TANACON failed and people were sitting out in the sun uncovered for 2, 4, 6 hours at a time, people started to give up. And I remember specifically that when I was going to VidCon on the very first day, just the day that you were supposed to pick up your tickets and you couldn't even go inside the convention center, I was walking to the back of the line at VidCon fully knowing that they were going to get us through quickly because this is a convention that had been going on for years upon years upon years. It's been going on since 2010, I want to say. I don't know that. But somebody had stopped me and said,
it's not worth it, the line is way too long, you're not going to get in.
And I was a little bit confused by that because me knowing that this was a convention that had been going on for years and clearly knew what it was doing in terms of creating a convention and managing a convention, I was a little bit confused by that. But now I'm starting to realize that maybe, and I could be wrong because this was on the first day and it was before either convention should have been open, but I'm starting to realize that maybe this guy had already been standing outside at TANACON. Maybe TANACON opened their doors a little early and nobody was moving. I'm not sure, but I did hear, especially in Shane Dawson's video series, which I will link down below, it did say that Michael Wiest, is that how you say it? I don't know. It did say that Michael Wiest had said that, you know, everybody was piling in really easily and there was no issues and everything, and Tana was a little bit confused by that because it was to her understanding that everybody was getting in no problem.
But I also wasn't aware that all those people were sitting outside baking in the heat. You told me people were funneling in. You told me that everything was fine security-wise. I didn't know she was going awry with TANACON until I'm up in my room getting calls. Fire marshals are here.
Tana,
Zach.
I need to go speak to the police chief downstairs.
20,000 people, 20,000 people has been the number that you said this whole time, and I'm finding out that it might not have even been that.
I guess once 1,000 people hit, they stopped letting people in because the max capacity was 1,000 people. And you can tell by these video clips here.
100 times due. I don't know anything about that side of the industry. There was plenty of food and water. We get inside, where is the food and water? That.
They sold too many tickets and they can't fit all the people in there. And all the free people are in there and the people that paid can't.
Look outside. We need to make a decision.
You know, 1,000 was definitely the max capacity, despite what the video had said, where, you know, the employee said, oh, that's just a safe number or whatever, you know.
So I got a hold of the contract between the Marriott and Good Times, and the contract stated that there was only going to be 1,000 people, and Michael signed it. Now I talked to both Tana and Michael about this, and they both said that yes, the contract might have said 1,000, but everybody at Marriott told them that that was just a safe number and that 5,000 was okay.
I have written here the Gabby show. Something that I need to talk about because I love Gabby Hanna to death. Everybody's trying to say that she's throwing shade at TANACON by praising VidCon for it being the best year that it has been. Honestly, I don't think that's what she's doing. I think honestly she really did have a really good year at VidCon. I imagine that Gabby goes to these sorts of conventions all the time. I mean, I could be wrong. I've never gone to a VidCon before this year, but I assume that she goes to these sorts of things all the time, and I don't think that she would be throwing shade. I mean, she seems like the type of person that would get up in your face and tell you straightforward that she does not like what happened. She wouldn't be putting it on the internet, none of that. She wouldn't be, you know, texting her friends about it and hoping that it gets back to the person. You know, it doesn't, she's just a very straightforward person and tells people what for, basically.
That I even have to say this because I'm an adult, but I am so sick of everything I post, especially on Instagram story, being taken out of context and applied to whatever drama story you guys are interested in at the moment. I'm not ever referencing anyone. I wrote a note to VidCon thanking them for taking notes that we've been giving them seriously and applying them, because this year was a very smooth, enjoyable experience, and it was a compliment to them. Just because I'm complimenting someone doesn't mean I'm shading somebody else. When I have a problem or an issue or a concern with somebody, I text them personally. I don't post vague, shady things on Instagram story. What you're seeing on my Instagram story is exactly what you're getting. In this case, it was a compliment to VidCon, not shade at. I am posting some poetry or lyrics or teasers or snippets or sneak peeks, or if I'm testing material, testing content on here, that is not some vague message that I'm trying to send to people. It's not a subtweet. It's not shade. It's just, if you're a fan of mine or somebody who hates me or somebody who solely follows me to see if I'm spilling tea, I'm not. And if you're somebody who thinks that I am referencing you in my stories, I'm also not. And that's
all I have to say on that. But Gabby was scheduled for both VidCon and TANACON, and her panel was great, as well as her performance. And it just blew my mind. Now, it's to my understanding that Gabby didn't even get the chance to perform. Didn't even get the chance to perform at TANACON. Because I think, and don't quote me on this, but I think TANACON closed after only one day. One day, and they closed it down. Didn't even get to, like, make it to the next or whatever. Let's move on, because otherwise I'm just going to continue to talk about this all day long. Let's talk about why TANACON failed, shall we? VidCon, as I was saying, also had, and this kind of ties into the previous subject that I was talking about, why VidCon was the best VidCon. VidCon 2018 was the best VidCon there was. TANACON failed because, I'm not saying it's VidCon's fault, don't take that as it sounds. I will I'll come back to it at the end of this whole statement, but I have written down here that VidCon was organized and secure, creators felt appreciated and taken care of, everything happened in a timely manner, visitors were well informed, and then, in brackets, I wrote, unlike TANACON, where Michael Wiest didn't even seem to know what was going on. And then it says, after the brackets, I'm fixing my mistakes that I have written in here because it's going to drive me insane. And then after that I said, everything ran smoothly and quickly. What I mean by the brackets, I mean, check out this video here.
Sold too many tickets and they can't fit all the people in there, and all the free people are in there, and the people that paid can't get in.
Remember when I went to your room and said, Tana?
In the video clip, the woman is screaming at him saying things like, oh, you know, 1,000 people, the 1,000 people that had the free tickets got in, and then everybody that paid is stuck outside, and saying that, like, he's gonna close down TANACON, and then he was like, no, we're not closing down TANACON, and then lo and behold, TANACON did get closed down, and it's just, he didn't seem to know what was going on, and then on top of that, he didn't seem to know what he was doing. Nothing against Good Times, although I'm pretty sure that Michael Wiest is Good Times, but I mean, I'm literally going off of Shane Dawson's video here. They didn't plan well enough in terms of like food, coverage for the people waiting outside. They didn't find a good enough venue that was big enough.
There was plenty of food and water. We get inside, where is the food and water at?
There was nothing, no food inside waiting for the people who did get in, you know, and it didn't go as Tana had wanted it to go. I mean, she wanted all of this.
What are those 10 things that add up to $200?
A merch shirt inside. I told you I wanted to do lip gloss. You told me you would reach out to makeup companies. I wanted to do glitter cheese. You told me you'd reach out to Lemonhead and get glitter. Like, I can sit here and tell you every single itemized thing because I did it.
Inside of the goodie bag. And what did she get? All of this.
Stickers from PETA. Oevo. Gucci Princess, but I can't afford that because I wasted my money on a ticket. I don't even know what this is. Cruelty-free shopping guide. I took more stickers. We don't have to talk about that. Oh, whatever this is, with no ticket, so that's really helpful. And then a condom, a TANA condom, which I tried putting on my foot, but it broke. Just so much as broken as the TANACON organization. And then a bag to suffocate myself with because I can't do anything in California because there's nothing left.
And so that's just a little red flag right there. Again, nothing against Michael Wiest. He's like 21 years old. He should have known that a convention could not have been planned in a 3-month period. It takes literally years to plan a convention. This convention that VidCon had just had, VidCon was thinking about this year's convention 3 years ago. And they were thinking about next year's convention 2 years ago. You know what I mean? Like, it's not easy to plan a convention. You think you're going to do it in 3 months, it's not going to happen. You're not going to have the resources to you. You're not going to be able to find the right people to hire for food cards. You're not going to be able to get enough featured creators together to make people happy. You're not going to have enough booths and people hired to be in those booths for people to be happy and buy what they want to buy. Like, it's just, it doesn't work like that. And he should have known that. I know people are saying that Tana should have known that too, but should she have really? Should she have really known that a convention could not be planned in 3 months? She'd never held a convention herself. It is, to my understanding, that she can't even throw her own birthday party. Or that's just a joke that everybody's throwing around, but you know what I mean. Like, she's not in the business. He is. He should have known that a convention cannot be planned in 3 months. It can't. You know what I mean? So then I have written here that only 1,000 people got into the venue and 5,000 or maybe 4,000 were stuck outside. Only roughly around 100-ish free tickets were purchased. They were saying that there were... Okay, we're going to talk about the free tickets first. They were saying that there were roughly around 1,000 free tickets that were sold in an instant. Now, I don't see that happening unless you're like, I don't know, the Beatles or Lady Gaga or I guess Justin Bieber back in his prime days. 1,000 free tickets cannot be sold in an instant. So that just kind of blows my mind that they were even bothering to say that. The logbook shows that it's only 100 tickets, free tickets, that were sold to TANACON. And it was 4,500-ish of the paid tickets that were sold, which is a lot of tickets, $65 tickets. I don't want to call it by its name because it has a cuss word in it and I don't cuss on my channel. Yeah, it seems like a scam to me. And even the next thing I have written here is scam ? Because why would you say that there are 1,000 free tickets to be sold and then only sell 100 before putting a sold out on the site? Like, that doesn't make sense to me. It's clearly a scam. Where did all that money go? Where did it go? You know what I mean? They say that they're having trouble paying rent, paying back everybody, paying all of the people that they had at the venue. But it's to my understanding that there weren't even people at the venue. Where were the food carts? Where were the food stands? You know what I mean? Like, where did all that money go? Of the money that they ordered? Like, it doesn't make sense to me, is all I'm saying. I have to say that it's a scam because, no offense to Michael, but I hope that he learns his lesson in the future that screwing people over it's not okay. And especially this badly, you kind of screwed yourself over there, bud. Like, no offense to you or anything. I understand that you're only 21 years old and you've got a lot in life to learn, but I just hope that you learned your lesson. Oh, and then I have written too young, as I just said that. That's funny. But what I wanted to talk about in terms of too young was that Tana's like, what, 19 years old? And Michael Weist is 21 years old. They're both very young. They're babies. They're infants. They are not adults. They should not be running conventions, as I had stated earlier in the video. How much experience can you have on running a convention before you should start running a convention by yourself? You know what I mean? Like, it's to my understanding that Good Times was Michael, and that's it. Like, he might have had a few employees here and there that he didn't seem to respect, but Good Times was Michael Weist, and he's 21 years old, and he's trying to run an entire convention by himself with 5,000 people. I don't think that that's okay. Like, they were saying that there were like 96 guards or something like that that they had on staff to help prevent things from going awry, when in reality they had 25. That's like a quarter. Not even, that's like just barely over a quarter of the amount of guards that they said that they had hired. You know, and that's also a ton less money that they were spending on guards, which means, again, where did that money go? What did he do with it? And yet here he's saying, I don't know how I'm going to pay rent.
I'm going to lose my house.
You said something earlier. You mentioned you might lose your house and like you're going to go bankrupt and all of that.
Dude, you live at your parents' house. Like, you're young. If you can't pay rent at the house that your parents are letting you rent, then just go home. Again, not enough time to organize. Okay, so the next one after that was Tana, literally days before her convention, Tana and Bella Thorne had been in Hawaii.
Tana, I need you to calm down, Tana. I need you to calm down.
We're in Hawaii, mahalo. Mahalo, aloha, mahalo.
As somebody who is trying to run an entire convention, I feel like it's common sense to know that you shouldn't put all your trust in people. Especially for a convention that has your name in it. That being said, if they screw up, it's on you. She should have known that. It's common sense. So why would you waste your time in Hawaii doing this?
Not as cool as my girlfriend.
I need like all of these around you. Like right.
My teeth don't work. I can't even bite it. Does that hurt?
Ow, it kind of does. Ah!
I'm trying to.
Instead of actually planning the convention. Now I know there's a lot of footage out there of Tana and Michael hanging out in a room talking about the convention, but I mean, all I'm saying is one specific video where they're wearing the same exact clothes and it's just split up into several different segments. You know what I mean? Like it's all one video. So that being said, all I have proof of is one time they hung out and talked about this. One time. Tana had tweeted, okay, so she was saying that there were 15,000 people outside. Clearly from this footage,
Look outside. We need to make a decision.
you know that Tana had not, that there was not 15,000 people outside. It was 4,000 maybe. Maybe. She had said like 1,000 times that there was 15,000 people. 15,000 people. 15,000 people. You know what I mean? You've seen that. I'll insert it right here.
15,000 people, 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 15,000 people.
She had said 1,000,001 times that there were 15,000 people that showed up to her convention, that had bought her tickets, that had done this, that had done that, when clearly there were not that many people. And the proof and the fact of the matter is that there were under 5,000 people there, with 4,500 people who bought tickets and 100 people who got the free tickets. Under 5,000 people were there. Maybe a few people showed up so that they could see what was going on from VidCon, but nobody was getting in as it was anyway. So, you know, Tana had also tweeted, if you don't have the money for one of the tickets and the free tickets are sold out, to just show up. Just cruise on through, you know? I don't know why you would do that, especially fully knowing that you had gone to the place, the Marriott itself, and checked it out and had questioned if it would even hold that many people. You had questioned it, which means that you knew deep down inside that it would not even hold 5,000 people. You still tweeted and told people to show up with or without tickets. And that just kind of blows my mind. On top of that, from the very beginning, and I think this is a great way to end this video here, TANACON was set up to fail from the very beginning. It was planned with bad intentions. F this, F VidCon, come to my convention, it's planned the same exact days as VidCon, F that, screw you VidCon, you know. It was clearly done with bad intentions. It was not done with good intentions. I mean, maybe a little bit trying to help the people feel better about themselves, you know, about not being able to be a feature creator in the beginning, but like, it was just straight up bad intentions, like with maybe a few underlying good intentions. And that's why TANACON was set up to fail to begin with. Because nothing gets done properly in a well enough manner when it's set up with bad intentions. That's kind of why I personally didn't go. Well, number one reason why I didn't go was because this is the first year that the convention was ever being held. And I feel like nothing ever goes as planned when you don't have the experience that you want, that you should have. You know what I mean? Like, it's clearly not going to go well. because of the fact that it is the first year. I mean, what does go off with a hit on the first try with as little experience as both Michael Wiest and Tana? Like, what does? Like, that's the number one reason why I didn't go. On top of that, I had already bought my VidCon ticket and I didn't want to pay an extra $65 so I could jump back and forth between the two. Although I will say that I did think about it when I saw that, you know, Shane Dawson was going and Gabby Hanna was going and Morgan Adams was going to be there and Ryland Adams was going to be there. Like, I was honestly extremely tempted, but I'm trying to be smart about my money these days, and that would not have been smart for me to do, especially since the free tickets had already been sold out, even though they weren't. As for what I think happened, I know this whole video is about what I think happened with TANACON, but personally, what I'm getting out of this is that there was a little bit of intention for Michael Wiest to screw Tana over. There had to have been. There's no way that there wasn't. But on top of that, he didn't want to screw her over that much. There was a lot of mistakes made. Number one being, you can't plan a convention in 3 months, you know. Someone at the hotel said, oh, you know, it says 1,000 people as a safe number, but we could really fit 5,000 people. And that was that person's fault, you know what I mean? No one planned for food. No one planned the gift bags as well. And there was no coverage outside. There was no food carts outside. There were no bathrooms outside. Like, ultimately, I think that, yeah, there was a little bit of a scam going on in there. A little bit of a conspiracy theory. But ultimately, I think it was all the mistakes that were made that were all piling up in one. Anyway, guys, if you like this video, please give it a great big thumbs up because it helps me out a lot. It lets me know that you like this kind of thing. If you want to see any more videos on subjects like this, what's trending right now, if you want to see some sort of like newsy type videos, just let me know in the comments below. Just tell me what you think. Don't forget to subscribe and become a member of the Crescent family because,
well, I mean, why wouldn't you want to be a member of the Crescent family?
but most of all, don't forget to kiss that bell icon because that bell icon is what's going to let you know when I upload. And I will see you guys later.
So with that being said, VidCon, anyone who created VidCon, I think all of the rebelled people and all of the unwanted people should host a little meet and greet in Anaheim, California on the same days as VidCon. I'd love to do it.